Wait. Welcome back to another Pokemon stream, your first Pokemon stream, whatever it is. Hello, 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 and welcome on in to I'm on time! The hair is kind of a mess though, hold on. Oh my gosh, these curls are not doing me wonders today. Bingo! Alright! That's true! That is a bingo item. You got a bingo item! That means you got 2 left. The hair is looking all kinds of weird. It's tied up, it's gonna get tied up, and that's all we're gonna work with here. Got the piranha. Okay, well, this is what we're working with today. Because the hair looks kind of like a mop. Good evening, sir. Hello, Polly. You're looking especially hairy. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm blurry now. Tell me about it. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I do. Like it's actually a very simple solution. I just need to wash my hair and like get more product in there so that the hair goes like and oh my goodness, okay, someone's got a shiny Oranguru. I know, the new icon is not fixed. And considering real life, it's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit. But yeah. Okay, lovely people. But yes, it's new. Yes, it is new. Lovely people, your girl is properly caffeinated. We are hyped for the very first shiny hunt. Actual shiny hunt that I'm gonna do in Pokemon Violet. Technically I already have 10 shinies. It's just Coke, more like Sugar Crash. Oh yeah, we're fine. I also have water. We got some Coke, we got some water. We can figure it out. We can figure it out. But yeah, guys, even though I technically already have 10 shinies, those are all full out shinies and they're not really hunted shinies. So today, even though I already have 10, it's gonna be the very first shiny hunt. And I got a good one. I got a good one. I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot with this one. I think I might be fine. Phase and Pink, hello, welcome on in. Tell us. We will be hunting. Now, I know last time I said Bayonet, but Bayonet's only at night, and I want to give myself a little bit more leeway to like figure out how the shiny hunting mechanics work in this world. I mean, yeah, technically, in this game. So, I've decided to go for a Pokemon that spawns both day and night, and that Pokemon is Girafarig! Yes. We're gonna go hunt for Girafarig so we can evolve it into Farigiraf. And then have the new Pokemon that was released as a shiny. And it's a pretty good shiny. I mean, it's like tan and... It's tan and blue. The nose turns blue. I can't be mad at that. I love blue. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. Sasha, I noticed something on your most recent upload clip. Oh no, did I did something wrong, didn't I? Wait, did I spell something wrong? I spelled something wrong. It's gotta be. I spelled something wrong. It has weird CC text. But I haven't touched that part of things. But I haven't touched that part of things. CC1, it said it's not the auto-generated one. But I haven't touched those settings! Why do things break when I don't touch them? I can literally touch every other single setting except for that one, and guess which one is gonna break? The one I didn't do anything with. Honestly though. Yeah, I'll check it out after. I'll check it out after stream. Because Because I have not touched the settings. Like, if it's wrong for one video, it should be wrong for all of them. Because I literally have not touched the settings for that. So, like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Just letting you know. Yeah, not drama, just letting you... I know, but, like, I didn't touch anything. Why is it broken if I didn't touch it? You know? Usually, if you don't touch it, it won't break. Right? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Nitty. Although you can't do the best method, or did you complete the tournament? Nitty, I am extremely confused. What tournament? Never trust anything, always check the video. Yeah, I mean, I kind of do, but like, I don't. But like, I do, but like, I don't. Everything looked fine. School tournament, the one after credits. I didn't have time to do the classes. Is that a problem? Cause I didn't have time to do the classes off stream. Then I don't know what school tournament you're talking about. Nitty, please elaborate, because your girl's kind of confused, as per usual. By the way, did you see the new Mario movie trailer? I did. I saw the direct. I didn't see the direct live, but I saw the direct. There's a lot there. That's a lot. There's a lot. Also, the star is murderous. There's part of the story still going after the credits. Yeah, isn't that like the one where you have to rebattle all of the gyms? The Luma's so good. I've always called it a star. We'll continue calling it a star. Thank you. Ah, wait, do you have boosted shiny chance if you do that? Because I never rebattle the gyms, like ever. It still looks like a star, therefore it's a star. But it looks like a star! Come on! It looks like a star! Looks like a star. I don't care if it's living or not. It looks like a star. I didn't say it looks like a star Mario collects. I just said it looks like a star. After that, you could get 5-6 raids that give you Herba Mystica that you use to make sandwiches that boost spawn and shiny odds. Okay, but I feel like I have some Herba Mystica already. Let me check. Okay. I thought it was done. I thought it was like ready to go, and you know, go destroy some giraffe rig. I mean, technically, I don't have to do encounters because they spawn in the overworld. I'm kind of curious to see how this is gonna work. So, with that said, I'm just gonna go to the game screen. I'm just gonna go to the game screen, and then we're gonna go figure it out from there. Okay? Let's do this. Bring. See, I changed this. I changed it. Look, it's pretty. I may be wrong about the rebattling gems tournament, but did you unlock 6-star raids? I don't know. Didn't last time someone I think it was Gecko? I think, yeah, bingo card. Oh, sorry. Yes. Bingo card. This is number 2. There you go. 2 more to go. Don't think we forget. Yeah, so I think it was Gecko that said something about 6-star raids being black. Check. I think it was Gecko that said something about 6-star raids showing up as black on the map, and I don't have a single one of those. Oh my gosh, I've worn sweatpants 99 times. 99 Luftballon. Da, 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 da. I don't have the rhythm right, but I know the song. Yeah, I don't have a single one that like shows up black on the map, so I don't think I've unlocked those. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure I had Herba Mystica in my bag. Where's my bag? Hold on, we gotta go figure this out. Where do I figure this out? That's a good question. Would it be here? I got a bunch of mints. Do those count? They're plants. Shards. Where would the Mysticas be? Would they be here? Or would they be in the picnic thing? Oh, look! I have one salty and one sour. There you go. Okay, some more story. If you have Herba, you probably got some from being carried. Probably, yeah. Phrase and Pink, thank you so much for the follow. Let me see here. The first step to unlocking 6-star raids is to complete the Academy Ace tournament at the end of game, which is only unlocked after you've defeated all gym leaders a second time. This increases the number of 5-star raids you'll find. Then you need to win 15 5-star terror raid battles. Are you kidding me right now? I was done. I was done. I had increased the shiny odds that were already ridiculously high for some reason for me to get 10 full odds shinies. I was done. I got the shiny charm. My odds were higher. I was ready to go make sandwiches, and now you tell me this? I have to go battle the gyms again? Are you kidding me right now? I was done. I was done! Why? I mean, you can make one sandwich, and how long do they last for? Like 30 minutes, right? Or is there a way to make a sandwich last like an hour? 30 minutes of shiny hunting. Done. I had it all. I completed the Pokedex. I'm salty. I'm salty like that Herba Mystica that's on the screen. Salty Tasha today. There's no sass left. It's all salt. I guess I have to change my stream though. Because apparently we ain't shiny hunting today. You can do the online raids to get Mystica too. Yeah, but I have to get carried. Like, definitely carried, because I suck at raids. I suck at raids. I am kind of curious to know, like, what the shiny odds are, like, just with the shiny charm, though. Because if I manage to get 10 full out shinies, then, like, with the shiny charm, it should be, like, even more, right? Wait, I need to Pokedex because I don't know where the Girafarig actually are. 1 in 512. Hey, listen, if I somehow manage to get a Wooloo after 6 months with 1 in 512, I can do this. It's that simple. Now, where's the giraffe? The sprites are loading a lot faster though. That's cool, because I can literally just do this. Or not. They're not loading fast at all. But I got to the giraffe. Aw, look at that. That's so cute. We don't talk about Wooloo. No, no, no. We don't talk about Wooloo. Okay. We know where we need to go. I sent the recipes for shiny sandwiches in the Pokemon channel. Thank you. Where my map at? We need to go here. Map up. My goodness. I mean, honestly, if people say that shiny odds in this game are like 1 in 4,000 full odds, then even if they say that it's 1 in 500 with the shiny charm, I'm just gonna go off on a limb and assume that it's probably gonna be better than that. Either that, or I'm literally shooting myself in the foot by saying that, and we're all gonna get doomed over here. Because that's a possibility too. You know, we could just go ahead and get doomed. That is a chance for that. But also, if I just make sandwiches to like increase spawn rate of normal type Pokemon, I feel like I would just get a bunch of Girafarig too. That bull just crashed into me. Yes, hi, sir. Goodbye, sir. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go try and see how far we get. If we get anywhere at all. With, well, with just this. With just the shiny charm. And if we get nowhere, then, I guess next week we're gonna do a bunch of gym battles again. Yeah. I never repeat the gym battles. I can't believe they made a functionality in game where you get even more increased. You can increase your odds even more by just redoing all the gyms. I don't think they've ever done this before. Just kind of weird. Kind of sad. Okay, I do not see a single Girafarig over here. You increase your odds by sandwiches, not redoing gyms. Yes, but you have to redo the gyms to increase your odds with the sandwiches. Because otherwise you can't get the thingies. Fight the Rotom. That's a Ditto. Noted. It takes more effort. Well, when have I ever done things the easy way? Come on. Okay, so the problem with this area is that you don't only have Girafarig as being the normal type. You also have things like Meowth and Deerling. Is there maybe a better area in the vicinity that I can send and set up camp? And get giraffes. Shiny Murkrow was my first random shiny. Yeah, it's a good one though. It's very visible. I had to look twice when I got the Wooper. I really wish I had done that on stream, guy. Like, seriously though, I really wish I had done that on stream. Like, that would have been kind of amazing. Though I probably wouldn't have gotten the shiny if it was on stream. So, I don't know. I don't know. Are any of you different? No, I don't think so. Along a trail that takes trains from Puerto Marinada to Lake Saroy is the best isolation hunt for Girafarig. Okay, that is good to know. Thank you, Nitty. You are my freaking Google today. Okay, let's see where I'm at. So this is Puerto Marinada, and this is the lake. So I'm currently here, so I'm gonna assume it's like this path. So we're gonna put that as the destination. Only sometimes though. That's okay. I'll take sometimes. I will take sometimes. More bulls? Or is these the same bulls? Might be the same bulls. I think those are the same bulls. Okay, so we got some more giraffes over here. We also got Dunsparce. Actually, Dunsparce would be pretty cool to get as a shiny too. I wouldn't mind that one either. Jumpluff. Jumpluff? No, thing. I wanted to merge Encyclopedia with Nitty, but it doesn't work. Aww. Why not though? Why doesn't it work? Are you pressing the right buttons, Savage? I don't know if you're pressing the right buttons here. There are a bunch of giraffes over here. Maybe this area wouldn't be too bad. Okay, so we're gonna experiment. Nittyclopedia is the best I can come up with. Actually, that's pretty good. Can't complain with that. That's pretty good, Nitty. Open up your Nittyclopedia and find what you're looking for. You know what? I'm gonna say this spot's as good as any. There's Meowth here too, but yeah, okay. Let's picnic. As soon as I get off of Miraidon. Okay, I'm just gonna, you know what? We're just gonna wing it, okay? Are there any other psychic types there? Actually, right, it's also psychic type. And no, I didn't see any, so maybe doing a psychic sandwich might be better. Here's the thing though, I don't know if I have ingredients for psychics, so we're gonna have to find out. Also, Cerulege walks really weird. Go for that then, lady. Yes, I will, thank you. Wait, what's this? Wait, is this the thing? Oh, I've never done this. I want to try that. Okay, hold on. Press A and L. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. This is so cute. Why is the Mareep thing upside down? Look at it. It's getting all clean. It's sparkly! It did sparkles! Wait, I want to try that with Claude. Claude, come here. Let me bathe you. I'm currently inside of you. That's not what I wanted. Oh my gosh! This is so freaking cute! What the hell? It's eating soap. Claude is literally eating soap. It's eating so much soap. Oh no freaking way. This is way too freaking cute. It has water absorb, so that should heal it, right? It's so cute! Oh my goodness! I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm fully dead. Okay. Let's go make some sandwich because everyone's asleep. Literally every single one is asleep. Except for Claude. Claude's wide awake. Also, the bird sleeps with one eye open. Like, its eye is open. It's just fully open. Wait! Tink sleeps on top of the hammer? Are you kidding me right now? That's so freaking cute. Cat broke the sound barrier. I'm sorry. Okay, but the bird sleeps with one eye open, guys. Look at this bird. His eye is both his eyes are they're both open. This bird don't trust nobody. Meanwhile, Tink's over here like, yeah. Nobody can beat me. Oh my god, this is actually so cute. Oh my god, Kalana's now asleep. Everyone's asleep. Okay, time to make sandwiches. Everyone's asleep. Now is the time. Sleep with one eye open. 2 herb sausage, 4 noodle, 2 butter, 1 wasabi should give psychic encounter level 2. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, first of all, let's just find whatever I have that's in this list and that I actually have all the ingredients for. Let's see. Encounter power. We need encounter power psychic. Encounter power psychic. I have encounter power normal. We know that one. Humongo power? Oh my goodness, okay. Encounter power psychic. And rate power dragon, which is fine because there's no dragon in the vicinity. Enter semi lyrics from Metallica. Not surprised such a note. Look for level 2. Well, I don't have all the ingredients for this. That's my only problem. I do not have the ingredients for this. I don't have whatever the bacon meat thing is. Also, I don't know how to see the levels. Rate power psychic. Encounter power bug. Oh, the level says, never mind. Let's see. Clearly I know exactly how everything works, okay? Like, I know how it works. Hydrate, I will dihydrate with some Coke. Thank you, Phazon. So I don't have whatever the recipe is for that. I think we need to go shopping. Gasp. Okay, we need to, I need to pack up and go. We need to go shopping because clearly we do not have all the things we need to have. Shouldn't you make your own recipes? Kitty? Yes! Those are my cats. I got 3 of them. Let's go shopping. I'm still gonna leave this pinned. Wait, can I buy Herba Mystica if I go to Port Marinada? Where is Port Marinada? You deserve the best. Why sell for the meh? You're simply the best. Boom, boom, boom. Your sandwich is more than the rest. Ingredients for everyone. Alright, I'm doing great. No, but like for real though, couldn't you buy like Herba Mystica at the auction? No, you can't? What was it that you could buy at the auction, though? There was something that you could buy at the auction. I just don't know what it was. Potions. No. Dusk balls. No. What do you got? Handy accessories for sandwiches? Oh! You can buy stuff in here. Interesting. Tasha, seen the Mandalorian episode? Of course I did. Of course I did. Wait, why is this not working? Oh, I am an idiot. I don't know if you guys realize that I am an idiot, because I don't have my hotkey set up for this scene. I only have it for the other scene. I forgot to set it up. So there's no suddenly bigger Tasha. There's no suddenly bigger Tasha. So sad. So sad. Okay, but who are other people that sell things? Shooketh? Saw the hand reach out and I was like, is it still coming? No, it's not. I forgot to set it up. Let's see here. I don't like any of these sandwiches. So that's all. That's all she wrote. Oh, who are you? Nah, y'all only got berries and stuff. Okay. The Mando episode. Oh my god, that was so cool. Especially. Wait, is there anyone in chat or anyone in stream right now that doesn't want the latest episode of The Mandalorian spoilers? Because, there's things to talk about, and I don't want anyone to get spoilers if they don't want spoilers. So if anyone here is objecting to get spoilers, please let me know and we shall not talk about it. I will give you some time. If you do not want spoilers, please make yourself known now. Or come back in 5 minutes. Both options are valid. Never seen The Mandalorian? Phazon, you don't know what you're missing. So you done talking about Mandalorian? Yeah, I mean, I could, so people can mute. Where is Miss Agusa? Wait, where's Miss Agusa? Here's Miss Agusa. Okay. Finger up in the air while we're... No! Where am I going? Okay. So, talking about The Mandalorian, okay? We're talking about The Mandalorian. This is the peace sign, okay? We are coming in peace. When Mando goes into the river and Bo-Katan dives in to pick him up and she locks eyes with the symbol that's on their helmets, I was just like, bro recognizes she freaking royalty. Like, bro recognizes it. Like, he knows, okay? Also, like, oh, come on. Grogu going after Bo-Katan so Bo-Katan can go save his dad? Ah, that was so freaking cute. Yeah, so yeah, but especially, oh my gosh, like, just, that was just everything, okay? Like, everything. And the effects in this were pretty good too. Grubba's smarter than he lets on. I mean, isn't he like 50 years old or like 60 years old, even though he's still a baby? So, like, yeah. And he was looking at the map pointing like, this is where we need to go. Yeah! Save daddy! He was so cute. Wait, this is like to buy ingredients. Like, freaking cute, dude. Freaking cute. But yeah. Anyway, I think we're good. Yeah. Also a mythical creature in the depth. That's what I was saying! Dude locked eyes with Bo-Katan when she went to save Mando. It was like, I recognize you. You royalty. It's the symbol. Dude, no, you are not paying attention. It's the symbol. It's the symbol, the little like horn thing that they have, like they're shaped all their helmets. That's it. That's the symbol. Bro's freaking alive. Bro is freaking alive, dude. I'm a crouching. Cannot play with one hand. Also, before y'all go metal, this is I love you and in ASL, this is metal. There's a difference. Bo-Katan can wield that. But they explained this. They explained this in, I think it was in the Boba Fett ones? they explained it, where it's like if your mind is not capable of handling the sword, then the sword will be extra heavy for you, or something along those lines. So there you go. Okay, we're gonna be done now because my hand is starting to hurt. Epic Mando Man is not worthy. No, it's not that he's not worthy. It's his mind is not ready. Catching power psychic. Yeah, Tash, do you want me to guide you to the ingredients for level 2 encounter psychic? Yeah, what do I need to buy? Okay, Mandalorian is over. You may unmute. 2 herb sausage in Delicioso. I just walked into here. Wait, hold on, Nitty. What? You want to see me struggle some more? Two herb sausage delicioso. Okay. Spoilers gone. Oh, that's what you were doing. Is this delicioso? No. This is not delicioso. Are you delicioso? 4 noodle in short cans. Who are you? Oh, learn more sandwiches. Can I buy stuff? Okay, okay, hold on. Just cleared the visual history. Okay. Well, I need to go find these shops. First and foremost. First and foremost. Who are you? Seabreeze Cafe. That ain't it. That ain't it. You can... Oh my god. An idiot in the making. Oh wait, they're all here? They're all right next to each other? Are you kidding me right now? I was just there! Imagine using the map app. Exactly. Imagine using the map app. I was just here, dude. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. 2 herb sausage. Oh no, wait, this is the bakery. Hold on, this is the bakery. 2 butter. Well, I got 6 butter, but we're gonna buy like 10 butters. We're gonna we're just buying a lot of butters, okay? Like it's just all butter right now. Wait. I like to buy... Do we have wasabi in here? Why wasabi though? Nobody like... Well, I don't like wasabi. This place does not have wasabi. So that's not happening. Next place would be this lady. Delicioso. Okay, delicioso, we need herb sausage. Watercress, smoked filet, chili sauce. Oh, this thing. What are these, wiglets? Butter here, wasabi elsewhere. Okay. Basil, chili, fried filet, chorizo. Okay, and now you said 4 noodles. Jalapenos. Noodles. We got noodles. Okay, wait. Noodles? We need noodles. So we need to buy like 10 noodles. Buying 10 noodles. We're buying 10 of everything. We'll figure it out later. Okay. And now, wait, so 4 noodles, herb sausages, noodles, butter, and now all we need is wasabi. We gotta make it spicy. So maybe this one? Is this an actual proper restaurant? Oh, this a proper restaurant. That ain't it. So we need to find more places. Have I been in this place before? I feel like I've been over this place before, but not like here. Are you about to rob someone? Thought the dude was about to rob someone. But no, he just lost. Poor thing. Who are you? We are currently hunting for wasabi. We got chili sauce over here, but not wasabi. Why am I looking for wasabi? I don't even like wasabi. This is Delibert's presence. I cannot handle wasabi. That ain't it either. Sandwich shop, cafe. I think I'm back where I was before. I'm somewhat confused because I tried to get over there, but there didn't do things. I mean, I arrived at my destination. This ain't it. Oh, Hyper Potions released a new song since 9 months. It's so good. DMCA free, by the way. Cool. But where's the place, though? Oh, it's on this side, I think. I think it's on this side. Yeah, it's on this side. Wasabi. Show me wasabi. I don't think I can buy wasabi. What do you mean the supermarket? I don't even know where the supermarket's supposed to be. Sure cans, Chansey Supply, Chansey Supply. Is this not in Misagosa? Wait, hold on. Savage Hyena has received a shiny egg! You're getting more shinies than me already, bro. You're getting more shinies than me. Is this not in this town? What's the other town that I can buy stuff in? But I don't know where the supermarket is. Sure cans, Delicioso, Artisan. How am I supposed to find an Aquiesta when I can only find artisans? Delicioso, Artisan, Levincia. But it don't say it's Picnic Max, Fashion Street, Vericidad, Delicioso, and Artisan Bakery. I don't know. We're going to Levincia. Still no Deerling? Okay. Well, we've set Deerling rate to be the same as all the other Pokemon in the level, so 2 shinies in 1 hour. You're getting lucky, dude. Okay. This is hats. This is shoes. This is socks. Wait, now that I've completed the Pokedex, maybe we have knee-high socks? Tights, 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 tights. No, we don't got knee highs. We just got socks. Any of these are supermarkets? This is a supermarket? No, this looks like a pizzeria. Barato. Do you realize that this pizzeria, this shop is called Cheap? Like, that's the actual name of this shop. It's called Cheap. Second half of the city. So this? No. Probably no. What do you mean diversity? Girls don't need skirts. No, but I just want tie-high socks. I just want tie-high socks. I'm not asking for much. All these freaking Pokemon games have given me tie-high socks. But I want them. I have them in my closet, so I want them here as well. Is this a place? Oh, I found it! Nitty, Nitty, I found it. Okay, give me wasabi. I found the wasabi. I'm gonna buy 10 wasabis. You have prosciutto, high socks, totally different. Come on, Savage! Okay. Now that we have ingredients, we go back to here. We go back to here. Back to the path. You know how hard it is to find pants? It really is, okay? It truly is hard to find pants. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Out of the 2 pairs of pants that I managed to purchase in the last month, okay, one of them doesn't have front pockets. Okay, one of them only has butt pockets. It has no front pockets, okay? What am I supposed to do with just butt pockets? Okay, you can't do a lot with just butt pockets. How much storage do you think these things have? Not much. Rechat. Even harder to find pants with good pockets. Talk about prosciutto, they talk about pants. Yeah, I mean, we ain't wrong. We ain't wrong. Okay, I'm gonna set up a picnic here. Setting up a picnic. Hello? Game? Oh, right. I'm on the... You're right on. I'm a hot mess, guys. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Companies think ladies' pants don't need pockets. Exactly! But there's also a second thing. They all wear bags. Well, there's a reason why we wear bags, and that's because our pants don't have freaking good pockets. Maybe if pants had proper pockets, we wouldn't need to have bags. Do you know what I would do? I would kill to not have to have a bag. But that's not a possibility. Because no pockets are big enough to fit all the things in. I don't wear bags most of the time. I do. Because I have pockets. Well, you gotta be really lucky to find pants that have proper pockets, okay? Like, if you find a pair of skinny jeans, because those are the only jeans I wear because I wear baggy up top. Like, there's no pockets that are large enough to fit your entire phone inside the pocket. Like, half of your phone, maybe, but the whole phone? No. Not a thing. Go to creative mode. Actually, what new sandwiches did I get? Because I got some new ones. Oh, look, I got some new sandwiches. New sandwiches. Okay, anyway. Oh, no, back, back. Put infinite stuff in their bags. No, it's just that we forget to get the stuff out of our bags and then it just stays there and then your bag gets heavy as hell. Pick 2 herb sausage, 4 noodle, 1 butter, 1 wasabi. Okay. 2 herb sausage. 4 noodles. 2 butters. And 1 wasabi. So men can never find the one thing. The ladies look. Listen, you just shove your hand in the bag, go like this, and then just feel it up, okay? You just feel the bag up, basically. You don't use your eyes, because if you use your eyes, you don't find stuff. Wait, stop. Back. No, 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 no. What? Feel up. You do! You feel up the bag! Basically, you put your hand inside the bag and go like this. Okay? And then you find what you're looking for by touch and then you pull it out. That's how this works. Oh, this is gonna be a terrible sandwich. How am I gonna fit 4 noodles on this thing? Don't not let anything. But how? I still have all of these sausages to put on it. Can I rotate? Oh my gosh. Okay. Bun. No! I was so close! The entire sandwich is gone! Why did I just hear ooh? So you don't have to have top bun, but bonuses will be different. Press button. Press button. But like half of my sandwich is gone. Everything fell off. See? That was not a good sandwich. That was a 2-star sandwich. Encounter power psychic level 1. Hey, we still got the encounter power psychic. I call that a win regardless. Wait, how can I go? How can I leave? Let me leave. Because ingredients fell off. Okay, but it's still level 1. That's still better than level none. Now, how do I do this? So we just count what? So I don't actually know how to count for the encounters, so we're just gonna count whatever we see on screen. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's like 5 giraffes over here. So we're gonna go with 5 giraffes, I guess. And then we got like 6 over here. 7, 8, 9. Did I see this ones before? Or run around and look at them and then set up a pigment to despawn and respawn. I don't know how to... I won't be able to count them, though. Wait, what did I just... How did I encounter a giraffe that I didn't encounter? Keeping So I shouldn't keep count? Okay, so I just don't keep count. There. Symbia, welcome on in! I will dehydrate once more because it's the last sip of Coke I have. Okay, so keeping count is going to be difficult, so we just basically don't count, so we'll never know. We will just never know. Basically, is what I'm hearing. We will never know how many encounters it took us. If you want to keep count, you can set, like, triggers. I don't understand exactly what you mean with triggers. Every sandwich timer. Oh, okay. So basically count the minutes instead of counting the encounters is what I'm hearing. How do I know how long a sandwich is active for? Like, how can I know that? How do I know how much time I have left? Is there a way to look at that? How do I see right on the D-pad? Oh! Okay. Must remember button. Oh, I should 100% be doing eggs if I'm gonna drive around this much. Wait, count the amount of sandwiches. Okay, or I could just count the amount of 30 minutes, so... We can do like 30 minutes and then 1 hour and then 1 hour and 30 minutes and just count the amount of time it took to get it. Would that not be a better metric? Like how much time it took us to get it instead of like how many sandwiches we made? Not to you? So you want to know how many sandwiches? Okay. 1 sandwich. That's... How do you spell sandwich? How do you spell sandwich? Is this the correct spelling for sandwich? Wait, I don't actually know. I think this is the correct spelling. Oh my gosh. Sandwich. Oh gosh, wait. I can do this. I can do this. Or maybe I can't do this because I'm doing it all wrong. Sandwich. Don't you try to confuse me, sir. Don't you try to confuse me. One bread. Bread. 1 bread so I can make it bigger. It's not gonna be called sandwich anymore. It's gonna be called bread. I made 1 bread. There. Anyone got questions? Sandwiches are now just called bread. Anyone opposed to it? I don't want to hear it. Sandwiches are now called bread. Special jail, but it's only a small jail. It's not a big jail. I mean, this is kind of how we did encounter full odds shiny Chansey last stream, so I have hopes that this might actually be a functioning strategy, I guess. Enjoy your visit. Just a tour of the vicinity. Oh my gosh. Girafferic. Okay, I definitely need to figure out how to set up eggs. Cause this is kind of the perfect game to do the method of wild and egg hunting at the same time, because there's no encounters unless it's shiny. So you literally don't waste time other than driving around and maybe doing a little pit stop to double check if something's shiny or not, which is kind of amazing. This is the perfect, this is actually, if I figure out how eggs work, that is, this would be the perfect game to double hunt in. To do my usual double hunts in. So much to explore. This is actually like kind of perfect, if I'm being honest. Can someone give me a like introduction to hatching eggs? How does that work in this game? Do I have to make sandwiches to collect eggs too? Sasha, how are you feeling about the Discord situation right now? I think you're ready for me to add the mod bot in there so I can moderate more things. I don't need to do a thing. I can post the settings I made in watching. I mean, it's population 5? Do we need police when the population is 5? Is kind of my question. Because I don't see the population going up anytime soon. Because I also don't feel like I'm doing enough to grow. I feel like I should be doing more. I haven't slept in like 3 weeks and I genuinely don't have the energy for it. Police, fight them. I mean, the server is literally like population, I don't know, 5, 6 people are in there right now. Most people don't talk because we don't really talk a lot because I'm awkward like that. You're sleeping on the couch, right? I did that one night and I nearly threw up. So right now I'm just trying to figure out like what we're gonna do with our lives. So taking it one day at a time, but yeah. Taking it one day at a time. Trying to figure out what to do to resolve this, considering pharmacies are not helping. Didn't know, sorry. No, don't worry, dude, don't worry. The couch is really comfortable though. It's just, I did nearly throw up. I woke up at 2 in the morning because like it went up. And that was kind of a bizarre experience. To just wake up in the middle of the night because you just started throwing up. I don't know why. I think I ate something funny. It was it was, coincidentally, it was a day that me and Bruno did not eat the same thing for dinner. So it might have just been that what I ate was like not in the best shape, I guess, but I don't know. It hasn't happened since, though. I have been feeling a little bit nauseous ever since that day. It comes and goes. And no, I am not pregnant. Just because I have a uterus does not mean I am automatically pregnant when I feel nauseous before anyone starts to think weird thoughts. But yeah. It's fun though. We're taking it one day at a time and figuring out. What do you think of us? I don't know. This is the internet. The internet is a vast place. You never know. You got fruit pregnancy? That's the only one that would not kill me. Yeah, food. I got a food baby over here. Like, it's like, I don't know, 18 months in. I've been food pregnant for like the past 18 months or something. It's bound to be due at some point. Did you learn everything, or do you need any more of my teachings? I think we're okay for now. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of content, some better, some worse. If none of it's interest to you, you be the first. Wait, is that, oh gosh, wait, I recognize this. Ah, names! Freaking names! Why do I never remember freaking names? Ah! Bo Burnham! I hate names. People should just be called numbers so it's easier to remember. Freaking names, man. I can never remember names. It's like, it's literally the bane of my existence. It's trying to remember names. Like, honestly. Gotcha. I go sleep because school tomorrow. See you around, friendos. Tomorrow is Saturday. What do you mean, school, Nitty? It's Saturday. There ain't no school on Saturday. Be happy, be horny, be bustling with rage. We got a million different ways to engage. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah, every other weekend I do school now. Oh, is that the course thing? By the way, did the website help with like anything? The one I told you about? Just before you go? Just before you go? Did I help? Did the website I found help? We use it in real life. Okay. So I'm gonna take that as a yes, it helped. Have a good one, Nitty. Sleep tight and good luck tomorrow. Good night. Good sleepies. Good sleepies to all that go to sleep now. Okay, definitely need to do eggs with this. Like 100%. It's like the perfect game to do it. How do... Have I... right. Okay, I got 16 more minutes to go. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to if I want to do eggs and wild hunt at the same time, I'm gonna have to reconfigure this little panel over here. Because I won't be able to fit both of them in the structure that it is now. Which is fine. I just need to think about how I'm gonna fit everything that I want to fit in there. There's one giraffe among a lot of Taurus. Does the kill method increase your odds? Like encounter odds? Or is it just like, doesn't make a difference? It's just a sandwich. See if we can figure that one out. I'm not going to sleep yet. No, I ain't going to sleep yet. I ain't going to sleep yet. Oh. Oh no? Not going to sleep yet. Ain't going to sleep yet. Ain't going to sleep. You're not gonna take it, Twisted Sister. Names. Oh my gosh, names. I am not good with names. If you show me the song, I might recognize it, but names? If it isn't Pink or Avril Lavigne or some other thing that I know more than just one singular song from it, then I don't know it, because I won't know the name. Killing them will help more spawn, but will it increase odds? That's kind of the question. But if killing them will help more spawn, then we shall kill them. Thank you for the tip, Phazon. Do you rather be called Phazon or Pink? That was the song I was remixing. I think my brain just stopped. I think my brain just stopped there for a second. Phase works. Or Faye or Pink. Oh, Faye is cute. Can I call you Faye? Faye is cute. I like Faye. It's like fairy. I should say derived from fairy. Look at the snouts. Are they blue? Yay! Hello, Faye. Nice to meet you. I am confusing. If you haven't noticed it yet, I am confusing. There's a Switch going. There's a game coming out for the Switch. Fae Farm. Faye, didn't know you had a farm. Tell me more about this farm of yours. Like Stardew Valley? I raised Jigglypuff? Jigglypuff, 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 Jiggly. And now everyone's asleep. And I'm gonna grab my pen. I'm gonna scribble all over your faces. Wait, it's more like, wait. Perfect. Yes. We need some more water. We need some more water. Oh, come on! That was not one, but 2 sips of water. Got one for free there. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do that. Can your friends do this? Can your friends do that? Can your friends pull this out a neat little hat? Can your friends do boom, 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 boom? I'm done. I'm done. Oh! Faye! Faye! What are you doing? Thank you! You didn't have to! Thank you! You legend! Thanks so much for the subby, dude! You got a bunch of emotes now! That my bestie worked really hard to make. Thank you. You just got here. You don't even know how confusing things get. You don't know how weird we get over here. Thank you. Everything is me. This is my stream. I mean, granted, yeah, everything is me because this is my stream. Oh my gosh! I don't know. How about that? We dancing. I don't know how long this is for. I set it up. I forgot to test it. I have no idea how long this is for. Flying Filipino, hello, welcome on in, and thank you for the bits. Playing this damn thing. Okay, that's it. We're done. That was loud. I need to fix that. I just lowered my my desktop audio. But I should probably fix it. I was hoping it was the 1 hour version. Of course not. Imagine me just doing this for an hour. After like 10 minutes, I would have no more arms left. I would have no more arms. Hype train? Oh my gosh, Savage, what are you doing? Hype train incoming? What the hell is wrong with you people? Choo choo? You'll have a limited time to earn. Oh my gosh, guys, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? I do not deserve all of that. The train be tooting? There's a quote for that. Dude, Fly Filipino! What are you guys doing? Stop! What are you guys doing? Faison, thank you so much for the gift sub. And coincidentally, it's to the one and only Armor Elemental, the wifey, the bestie, the one that made the emotes, and she's probably asleep at this hour already. Oh my goodness. Tasha.exe. Stop. What are you doing? What is this freaking level 2 hype train? I still don't understand the trains. I've never understood the trains, but it's there and it exists and someone is a conductor. It means the chat loves you, but like, the chat's already loving enough if you're just in chat. That's all I need. That's all I need. I need y'all to be spending money on me. It's to motivate for cuties to support you. But cuties just being in chat is already good enough. Most street owners happen in a short time. You guys, you're gonna make my heart explode one of these days. Jeez Louise. That's true, can I have, of course, just tell me how to give it back. I don't know how to refund things. I don't know how to refund subs. There's no turning back? Oh no. Train will be well fueled now. Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. Sincerely. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Like, what is wrong with you people? I'm just decimating the giraffe population in this area and y'all just here. Oh my... Dude! Flying, what are you doing? Why are you gifting subs? I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Why? I'm watching. No, you're trying to make my heart explode. That's what you're trying to do. Why are you trying to make my heart explode? Savage! No! Why do you keep doing this? Ah! You guys! Told me I almost broke records, so I had to? Look at the line. I need to get glasses made, man. As soon as I get back. Oh my gosh, what is happening right now? Flying! I was about to put my glasses on that I actually need to get redone. What is wrong with you people? Safri Popo, hello, welcome on in. Level 4? There's a level 4? Wait, there's a level. I have a thing saying level. There's a level 5? The highest I've seen was level 14. I think the highest I've seen was level 3. What is wrong with you people? Stop giving me things. I'm supposed to entertain you! Now the highest is... What happened? Happy Mario Day! Oh my god. That is not an excuse. I am not Mario. I'm probably closest to Princess Peach than I am from Mario. What the hell? Gecko Boy, hello, welcome on in. What is this? I don't understand. How much time do I have left? 2 minutes left on this sandwich. What are you shiny hunting? Giraffe. Giraffe is my first. You guys, what the hell? Blue Nose Boy! I'm decimating the giraffe population in the meantime. Oh my gosh. I am... I'm done. I cannot human anymore. Oh my god! I cannot human anymore. Just the eyes. I don't know anything anymore. What is life? I don't understand. Since the streamer's gone, let's talk trash. Our garbage bin outside is disgusting. It actually is. Some gypsies just came threw all the garbage on the bin next to our house. I know y'all don't understand what the hell's going on. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm just gonna crawl. And just I don't know, there's a freaking hype train. There's a freaking level 4 hype up. It's a freaking level 4 hype train. Do you want a recipe for shiny sandwich? No, Nitty got me covered. Thank you, Gecko. Nitty already sent the details of what I need to do. Mark be like, yep, that's Sasha. Yes. He knows this is me. He knows his daughter is insane. It's just getting smaller. Okay, this is actually really hard to breathe. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh, well, that didn't go according to plan. I'm down here. Okay, wait. I sit again. Oh my gosh, my hair is even messier than it was before. Floor mechanics. Hey, if you want me to do a floor stream, I could totally do that. I don't know how long I can sit on the floor for, though. Wait, this is not the right size for my head. Because I have hair. There you go, that's better. Oh my gosh. You guys, what the hell with this level 4 train? What is wrong with you people? I need to actually fix my hair because the hoodie. Oh my goodness. There's so many hype emotes. Well, good for you. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know the train got to level 4. Highest I've seen was level 3. Jeez Louise, guys. Oh, that's not staying. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure my sandwich has ended already. I need water. I can't breathe. You guys are gonna make me... You're gonna make my freaking heart explode at some point. Jeez Louise. What is wrong with you people? I don't ask for much. I'm pretty sure my sandwich is already I think so. I mean, I didn't eat it, but yeah. I'm chewing my lips again. That's great. No makeup for this girl because I don't want to feel like a cat with socks on. It's true! I'm gonna make another sandwich. Listen. Listen. Okay? If you put on makeup and you feel like your cat, and you feel like what your cat feels, like when you put socks on your cat, then you are not the one to be wearing makeup. Because if you put socks on a cat, if you just Google cat with socks, you'll know what I mean. They just go like... They just, if you put socks on cats' paws, they just go like. Help me. So that's me with makeup. Okay, I feel like I can't move my face, and I move my face a lot, if you haven't noticed. So, yeah. Okay, so we need, it was 2 of these, 4 of these, and then 2 of these, and 1 wasabi. See, I can memorize names, but this freaking thing, I can't, for some reason. I don't know. Dogs that that's what you meant by that. Dogs take like giant steps with socks on. Like they're stepping over something, but it's not. Yeah, no, in this case, it's more like, yeah, why is there an earthquake? Well, I'm trying to make a freaking sandwich. Okay. Do not let anything drop. Except for the fact that there's an earthquake. I got this! I got this! I got this! How do I not place the bread? How do I get rid of the bread? I can't put the bread. The bread's gonna make everything fall. How do I get rid of the bread? Do I just throw the bread away? What do I do with the bread? I need help! Just drop it? I just... Look, if I put bread on top of this, the stack's gonna fall. The stack of noodles is going to fall. Tasty Tasha original. Is it gonna do the little like O face again? Like it's hurt its tooth? Oh look, I got 3 stars this time. Ooh, Nitty was right. Look, it's level 2, and you don't need the bread. Okay, let's see what the difference is. Now I'm kind of curious. My heart is still beating fast as hell because of that freaking train, you guys. Hope y'all know what the hell you're doing to me. Should be level 2 3 times though? What do you mean level 2 3 times though? 2 times 3 is not... What? What do you mean, what do I mean? I don't know what you mean! So what do you mean? There were 3 lines. What do you mean 3 lines? Yes, but we only need the encounter line. Wait. See, it says level 2, 1, 1. And we only need the 2. The one that says level 2, that's the only one we need. For best odds, all 3 need to be 2. Oh, but like we only need the encounter ones. Because it's only the encounter ones that matter. We're not doing electric giant Pokemon. Right? I'm not looking for giant Pokemon. Also, this is now bread number 2. 2 breads. What? Hang on. Yeah! I mean, I am hanging on by a thread. Yeah, but this is for the Herba one. We're not doing the Herba ones. We're not doing the We're not doing Herba Mystica. We're just increasing psychic spawns at this point. This is a pity set. Yeah, I have to go do the gyms to get the more Herba thingies. So right now we're just hunting it the supposedly the hard way, I guess. It's also the way we've managed to get a shiny last stream, so how hard can it be? No way running shining bird break. Hey! Go for it, Safri! Is it full odds or do you got the charm? I don't think any of you are blue. I got the charm. Yes. None of y'all have a blue nose. Oh, I guess we're going down. Cool, you choose to call them Safri, not Popo. The name starts with Safri. Why would I call Popo? Also, isn't Popo police? I'm confused. Police is Popo. Yeah, police is Popo. Like, Popo is police. I'm not gonna call someone a cop if they're not a cop. Oh, oh my God. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about here. Perfectly fine just the way I am. Take the train. Lack of sleep, you guys almost making my heart freaking explode with the train. And now I can't read anymore. This is all your faults. This is all your faults. Jeez Louise. Lack of sleep for sure. Yeah. I'm gonna hopefully I'll be able to sleep late tomorrow. Try and make up for sleep. I know you can't ever make up sleep, but you can damn well try making up sleep. When Pokemon Sleep comes out this summer, we'll see exactly how bad I'm actually sleeping. Then we'll have concrete evidence. I want to see who gets a 1 first because you're also hunting? Wait, are you also hunting for Giraffe? Cool. I was so tired yesterday afternoon I actually took a nap. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. No, Swablu. Oh, cool. It's a good shiny. Soblo's a good shiny. We like that shiny. I slept for 2 hours. Oh my god, that sounds so good. I want to sleep for 2 hours. I want to sleep for 2 hours. That's so amazing. I am hunting with shiny sandwich though. Okay, so your odds are probably going to be better than mine because I just have the spawn buff. As the savage said, I got the pity sandwich. The I didn't repeat all the gems sandwich. And I only have 2 Herba Mystica sandwich. In the morning we had a resume and job application hunting on Zoom call, but I had way too little sleep this week as well, but it's all my own bad. Listen, if you actually had the time to take a whole ass 2-hour nap, then you take that whole ass 2-hour nap. I would take 2-hour nap if I had time to take a 2-hour nap. The only time I have time to take a 2-hour nap is right before I go to sleep. And that's just called sleep. Most weeks in this second semester have 2 half days in it. Oh my god, that's amazing. That do be amazing. Abso-freaking-lutely. Dad, can I have a half day? Can I go take a nap? I'll bring a pillow. No, my coworker's going on holiday next week, so I can't. I mean, I could. Honestly, I could fall asleep at work if I wanted to. Asking on stream so Dad will be the It's not. Not that bad. Not that bad. Although the other day he was at work and he did try to take a nap. I told him there's a couch upstairs, but like he didn't want to go to the couch. So. At least I think there's a couch upstairs. Maybe they took the couch away? No, I'm pretty sure there's a couch upstairs. Upstairs from work is what I mean. I don't have an upstairs. I am the upstairs. Last job had a lounge chair upstairs. Yeah. There's a couch. There's also a really comfortable chair actually upstairs. What is it with work and sleeping ability? You know what it is? Okay, basically, there's a reason why the Spanish have siestas at like 3 in the afternoon, okay? There's a reason for that. And the reason is simple. You eat food at lunch, and then your body digests the food, and then you crash, and you need sleep. Imagine working somewhere where they have hammocks at the cafe. Oh my gosh, I would just sit there and swing. Also, why the cafeteria? Why does the cafeteria have hammocks? You can't really eat food in a hammock without spilling it all over yourself. A friend of mine works at IT company that has a stocked fridge of... That sounds very dangerous. You really want to give IT people that much power? They already got all the power. Really want to give those people more power? Can I get some more giraffe spawns, please? Send me a picture. They are removing the caffeine cans in a few weeks. So just hoard them. Get your own mini fridge. Wait, energy drinks with I thought you were talking about coffee now. Because coffee has caffeine. Or Coke, because Coke has caffeine. Or just any soda usually has caffeine. Energy drinks with caffeine, but energy drinks are already caffeinated. To a certain degree, right? Isn't a monster equivalent to like 8 cups of coffee? Why did you reset for an outbreak? Cause I don't like resetting the games. I really, really don't. And this game already crashes so much. Actually, I should save. This game already crashes so often that I don't want to risk like full on breaking it. So we just drive around. It's safer that way. Yeah, all you do is move clock one day. Oh yeah, no, I can't do that. When we set up the switch, I think we did something wrong and I can't figure out how to change the clock on it anymore. It's like stuck. Recently heard Monster's coming out with cans with alcohol now. I heard that Sunny D is coming out with alcoholic drinks. They're gonna call it Beast. Mr. Beast might be suing them for branding. Who loves orange soda? Cal loves orange soda. Is it true? Is it true? I do, I do, I do. You cannot say orange soda and not expect me to say that. Come on. Freaking iconic Keenan and Kel. Synchronized clock by internet on. I don't actually know. I haven't been in the settings in like a really long time. But probably? I think we did something with a child lock. By accident. You can turn it off. If you want, we can do it on stream together. I did it for Animal Crossing as well. It's not hard. Yeah. I have a tendency to break things that aren't broken, so maybe we shouldn't touch things that aren't broken. And then break them more. I think that might be a good idea. To just not break things. Right? Whatever you want. You want it? I got it. I want it? I got it. You like this game? Gee, thanks. I bought it. I tried something. I don't think it was super effective, but I tried something. Sorry. Caught me off guard though. Oh, hey, that's a Ditto. Actually, I should have killed the Ditto, shouldn't I? Yeah, well, anyway. Caught me off guard, though. Good enough? Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Why are you fighting them again? I don't know. At this point, I'm just randoming. I'm just randoming. If you ruin this one you get new ones. Yep. You can auto battle them. I could. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I could just do that. When your friends do this. When your friends do that. Killing Girafarig with my sweet little cat. Oh, that works! Guys, my brain works for something. I'm impressed. Didn't think that was gonna come out of my mouth. You're just wasting time. No, I'm getting swarmed by Girafarig. Run until these spawn, then go back for new groups. They take quite a bit to spawn, though. I think. Don't they? Giraffes! So many giraffes! Run away. Chill. Despawn, not run in same spot. No, I went to the rock and then I came back. Did you not see? I went to the rock and then I came back. And now I'm here. And I can run back all the way to the rock. Snap like Thanos and go back. Okay. And then we just go back here. We'll wait for the giraffes to spawn in again. Because they literally take forever to spawn! Is everyone dizzy yet? I am 100% going to be needing glasses. On my face. With the right prescription on them. When I get back from Rome, if I keep doing this. There's a limited pool of mods that can spawn, so just keep running and you get different ones every time. Okay. We run! We walk. We walk, we run, we sprint, we drive? Could this be considered, is this considered driving? This is considered driving, right? Like, I mean, I'm like, what, 10 in this game? Am I even allowed to have a driving license? I think it's riding. But it's like a motorbike. Shouldn't that be considered driving? The same ones never return, so if you miss a shiny, you lost it as well. Yeah, that is how the game works, isn't it? Actually, you can check if you missed a shiny on the profile, right? So if this says 12, then I missed one. No, it says 11. So I haven't missed any shinies. That'd be good. Only if you battle them? No, but I'm pretty sure Nitty once said that, like, her shiny counter went up because she passed by a shiny and didn't notice it was a shiny. Because, like, if you go into the battle encounter, it has the sparkles. So, like, why would they say that if... You know? on, Blue Nose. I have made 2 sandwiches for you. Unsure about that. I'm sure, Nidiclopedia will have the answer when they return next time. Is everyone dizzy yet? It's getting kind of hard to look at. I'm getting a bunch of berries though, that's fine. That's pretty cool. You know what also would be really cool? If I could find the other Tauros that isn't this Tauros, and that's the other Tauros with the weird, like, other Tauros thing. That entire sentence makes... Press right stick button. Why would you want me to go like this? That makes it even more dizzy making. Also, I could drift, and I could drift into a giraffe. Oh. Wait, what? This is a thing? Wait, I didn't know you could zoom in that much. Safri! You legend! I didn't realize you could zoom out this much. Look at me, I'm all zoomed out. The frame rate drops a lot though. After completing the game. Yeah, I've been playing this game since it came out. Oh, the frame rate is awful though. Probably because it has to load more things. Yeah, the frame rate is really, really bad. If I use the zoomed out version. Like seriously bad. Holy macaroni. This is no. I'd rather save myself a headache. I'll just use the zoomed in version. Thank you. It's an amazing discovery, but no thank you. If the frame rate's not gonna... Oh my god, there's a bug. If the frame rate's not gonna be good, then I don't want it. Didn't even know that was a button. It's on, if you go into your profile, it says shiny Pokemon battled 11. But I'm pretty sure that Nitty said that their counter went up without having battled the Pokemon that was shiny, that they just missed the shiny. The thing is, if you go into the battle thing, you do get the little sparkle things. Gonna ask Bing chat, oh my gosh. Come on, burn, suntan, giraffe with the blue nose. Show me your goods. This is really cool though. I didn't know this was a thing. It's just the frame rate is And if I speedy up, it's even worse. Dang. That makes it impossible to look at things. Like legit impossible. But I learned something new. That's fun. Just look at my room. The zoomed out version is fun. I like this. You can see more things. But you also see less things because frame rate sucks. Pink, 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 more pink, all the pinks, so many pinks. I swear, if like not shiny hunting gives me more shinies than like actually actively looking for a shiny, then I don't understand how this game works. I knew it, here it comes, uh-oh. Bring in the text block. The counter in your profile shows the number of shiny Pokemon you have seen in the overworld and battled, not just the one you have battled. So basically that means seen and battled. AKA, if you saw a shiny but didn't go into the battle encounter, it will count it as a shiny. So you haven't missed one in the overworld. Yeah! Two sandwiches, two sandwiches, two sandwiches. I got a giraffe rig, I got a giraffe rig, I got a giraffe rig. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Who needs shiny sandwiches when you can have regular sandwiches? And I'm gonna quick ball it because I think that Pokeball looks cute. Shiny number 11. Hey! Great! We're done! First shiny hunt over! It took me 2 breads! This is amazing! I'm gonna save. Like 3 times just to be safe. If we can get a shiny per stream, this is gonna be ridiculous. How much time do I have left over on the bread? I still have 3 minutes left over on the bread. So next stream, Safri and Faye just need to be here to be your shiny charm. Yeah, maybe. Maybe to do. What if we find another one before the sandwich is over? That'd be ridiculous. Might be asking for too much if that's the case. Shiny number 11! Which will be registered as 12 because we got the Wooper and the Clotsire. Or evolved into the Clotsire. Oh man. This game is too easy. Who needs shiny sandwiches, bro? There's no way, honestly, there's no way the shiny odds in this game are like with the shiny charmer 1 in 500. There's like no way. Like, I don't believe it. If I manage to get 10 full out shinies during my regular gameplay, and now in 2 sandwiches, in less than 2 full sandwiches, I got a shiny without them being shiny sandwiches? This is broken. This is like completely broken. There's no convincing me. This game is freaking broken. That's gotta be it, right? Maybe High Train carried temporary shiny charm. That's sweet. Don't do that again, though. My heart almost exploded. I can't handle all that. Oh. I'm so far away. How did I hit? Know what to do next stream? I mean, if it's this easy, we're gonna go do Bayonet. If it's this easy to get giraffes, we're just gonna go do Bayonet. I know exactly where Bayonet is. So yeah. You meant the hype train? No. Don't make me explode, please. Be scared. How can I not be? It's trying to make my heart explode over here. It's not okay. I think the sandwich might have run out by now. Right on time. Okay, so we're gonna go check the fire den that's over there. What are the next shinies you're planning to hunt? Okay, so basically I wanted my first shiny in this game, my first shiny hunt in this game to be Bayonet. But because Bayonet is, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. Because Bayonet is a night-only spawn, I thought maybe we'll start with something easier, so I went with Girafarig, but we already got the Girafarig, so... if it's truly this simple, we can just go Bayonet next. It's gonna be perfect. Arcade, welcome on in! You look different. That almost automatic... You look different, LMAO. That almost automatically too delicious and bad. What? Autocorrect went crazy there, what? And yes, I have, look, Arcane. I promise you. I'm the same person, okay? It's just the curls don't look great, so I tied it up. Like that. With a piranha. There. I didn't cut my hair, it's still all here. It's just tight. It's just tied up. Or clipped up. Or however you want to call it up. I want to say you look different. iPhone almost made it. You look delicious because of autocorrect. Oh, that's what the sentence meant. I was just like, that sentence is all mumble jumble and I don't understand it, but it's fine. Don't always have to understand everything, you know. And I'm okay with that. I just thought that sentence was entirely mumble jumbled and that the autocorrect was like saying that that's the reason why. Also check what I said before. What you said before, very important. May I just get another one? One that's not so cold. Where? I have a shiny Tropius already. Why do you see a shiny Tropius? I don't even see a Tropius spawn over here. Although I already have a shiny Tropius, so... don't need another one. Doesn't evolve into anything anyway. I thought I saw one? Okay, well I'll check the thing. I'll check the thing. See? It says 12. I did not pass by any other shinies. Otherwise, it would have said 13. You said you almost broke my heart, so I said, just get another one. That is not so cold. Oh, gotcha. Oh, alright. That was making me repeat what you said. I mean, I have the memory of a goldfish. I have the memory of a goldfish. I don't remember names, I don't remember what's said, I don't think before I speak. I just blurt everything out, and sometimes it goes well, and sometimes it goes wrong, and, well, we're all here to enjoy the ride. Any of you shines? What about you? Here's a blue fish. Sure, I'll take the blue fish. Can I have it as a pet? Another random shiny. Hey! Doing good, dude. Did you get the Swablu already or not yet? Can we raise it together? I mean, you already have a couch inside my head, Savage, so like... I don't know, man. Should I let ya? I got a Meditite. Ooh, that's a good shiny. I'm getting really good shinies, dude. Mudbray's kind of golden. Meditite goes from blue to pink, and Medicham goes from pink to blue, which is also lovely. Doing good there, sir. Doing good. We can take care of the fish next to the couch. You're close by already. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's how this works. There are also two that I didn't have before. Hey! Even better! Oh, that's a deerling. It's like, what the hell is that thing? I was about to say, that can't be shiny. I don't think the ears are pink. An Azure and Oblique shirts on Forte. That's cool. Actually, did you see the Mandalorian one? The orange helmet on black shirt? Can you please agree with me when I say it should have been a black helmet on an orange shirt? The color should have been inverted. Orange on black should have been black on orange. It should have been inverted. It would have been perfect. Let me go do. This one. Yeah, it should have been inverted. It should have been black on orange. That is my opinion. You don't have to do anything with it. That's just my opinion. Oh, this looks right next to it. It is kind of bright color. I know, that's why it would be perfect. Also just my opinion. I think it's exactly because it's such a bright color that it would be really nice. Hello, Jiggle. Show me your eyes. Your eyes are the wrong color. Like I care about your opinion. Yeah, like why wouldn't you care about my opinion? Like, ew. What outbreaks do you have? I have no idea. There's a lot of Shinx over here. I feel like that's a lot of them. That might be an outbreak, but I don't know. I can check the map in a second. Let me just check this den. Map. So I have this outbreak. This is a good outbreak. I also have the love disc. I have a Flittle over here. Revavroom and that dude. Might actually go try and do this one, because this is a good outbreak. If we can get the purple, dolphin, it would be nice. I would never, ever, ever evolve it, but it would be nice. Ready for a joke? Oh no. I actually also have one. Okay, you first, you first. Why can't you evolve it? Because I hate the evolution. The evolution is god-awful. Why did the Mexicans start taking anti-anxiety medication? For Hispanic attacks. Oh my god, that's good. That's actually good. It doesn't look too different. Exactly, and then it transforms into an abomination. It's a terrible evolution. I don't care if it's useful or godlike. It doesn't look good. I don't like it. Nothing you say or do can convince me otherwise. Okay, so Savage had a joke, now it's my turn. Are you ready for this? What do you call someone that wakes up in the middle of the night to go eat? An insomnomniac. I thought that was funny. It was just like, yep. Insomnomniac. It's perfect. It's perfect. Come on. Okay. Safri, you didn't like that joke? Come on. Thought it was a non-joke thing, so I said hungry. Is it my turn now? Bring it on, dude. Send it. Shoot us with your best jokes. The dolphins are so cute, though. Really wish the evolution wasn't an abomination. And a cute abomination until it transforms. A cute Care Bear. It's a Care Bear. It's a Care Dolphin. Until the moment it transforms and then stops being a Care Dolphin. Turns into some freakazoid. What do you call a frog that park bad? What do you call a frog that park bad? Sorry, what happens? Can you just type the sentence over again correctly if, because I don't know what happens as opposed to substitute. Wait, yeah, no, I don't. I'm confused. Is that the point? Is the joke to confuse little Miss Me? Because that's very easy to do. How do I know when an outbreak is done? What happens to frog that parks incorrectly? What happens to frogs that park incorrectly? Park what? Their butt? I don't know, tell me. Tell me, what happens to frog that park incorrectly? Oh, that was cute. It gets towed? Okay, that's actually clever. I didn't see that one coming. I should have. It's kind of obvious. Now that I know the ending, it's kind of obvious. That's good though. That is good though. What happens when frogs park illegally? They get towed. Yeah. Nice one. Nice one. Okay, so there be dolphins. Wait, what happens if I were to make a water sandwich now that there's like a bunch of dolphins in an outbreak? Would there just be like double dolphins? Or like triple dolphins? Because like there's already so many dolphins. Would there just be more dolphins? Why didn't the number 4 get into the nightclub? Because he is too square. Oh, poor thing. $50 dolphins. Okay, cool. Want to hear 2 short jokes and a long one? And a long joke? Okay. Joke, joke, joke! Yeah. That's kind of how that works, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Could I not just climb the wall until I don't see any dolphins anymore? And then just jump down? Whee! Whoop! That was kind of fun. What? Oh, sorry, that's my alarm. What has 4 wheels and flies? I was gonna say a plane, but a plane technically has more than 4 wheels. garbage truck. That kind of flies. Not the flies, the flies. That was good. That was good. I admit, that was good. I did not see that one coming. That was solid. That's a Gyarados. Dolphins, join me in this meeting, please. Dolphins, everyone get around. Get around, we are going to begin this meeting. Come on, Dolphins. Why did the tomato blush? I don't know. It saw the salad dressing. Now, does the salad know that the tomato saw it dressing? Can I join? Of course, Faye! Bring your best dad jokes. Okay, oddly enough, the frame rate isn't so unnerving on this patch of water. Jokes? Oh, you meant join the... I'm so sorry. I thought you meant join the jokes, not join the Finizen. Apologies. I did not understand that. What did one place say to the other? I don't know. You mean the Finizen? How do we do dinners on me? Yeah. If you have kids, it's on you, next to you, over you, and under you. Yeah, Faye, how does one do that? If you explain, we can do it. Union, right? But if I leave here, doesn't this like disappear? I don't know how long these things last for. Also, I'm offline right now. So like if I go online, does it disappear? No, the first question's first, like, because like when it comes to raid dens, if I go online, sometimes it disappear. Does the same happen with these things? It doesn't. Okay. Dude, stay here. And portal. I gotta go to the store. First? Can you just union circle from anywhere? Can I join too? Sure! It's the first time I'm doing this. I have no idea how this works, so... But I thought you had to be at the Pokemon Center to do that. Are they still here? They are still here. We still have the dolphins. Dolphins, gather round. You can do it anywhere? Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, so we portal. Faye, you said you had to go to the store. Did you go to the store already? Are you good to go? I'm so confused. People, this is the first... I've been playing this game since it came out. This is the first one. This is the first time I'm doing this. So y'all better, like... You gotta give me instructions over here. Because I don't know what I'm doing. No, it's gonna take a while, sadly. Oh, do you mean like actual human store or do you mean game store? There needs to be a distinction. Your circle is just roam in your map area thingy. Okay. Needs real food. Ah, gotcha. Okay, Faye. Well, I mean, maybe next time. No fin isn't for you today. But Safri, if you want to do the thing, we can do the thing. So people can be next to you in your map. Okay. They're still here. They haven't left. I got 2 shiny fin. Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, so Safri, since you want to go, why do you keep going out? I'm scared the finnies are gonna disappear. Okay, so if I say form a group. Okay. You can gather with friends at one of the Pokemon centers in the region and play together. If your connection gets interrupted while playing with friends through the Union Circle, you'll be automatically removed from the group. If the trainer who formed the group loses their connection, the whole group will be disbanded. That sounds permanent. Try your best to play in an environment with a strong and steady connection. Gathering a group. Okay, so apparently there's a code, and the code is MWQ4BV. Whatever. I have an Ellen? I have an Elin or Ellen. I'm in. Okay, anyone else wants to join? Now's your time. I got dolphins. If anyone else wants to join, I got dolphins. And it's Friday, so I can go a bit longer. Does this have like a time, like, thing like in the raid battles where you have to join an X amount of time? Or does it expire? Did you hear about the emotional wedding? Even the cake was in tears. Hey! Yeah, I know that one, Savage. No? Okay. So if no one else wants to join, we're just gonna do the thing. Set out together. Okay, do you want to set out with these members? Yes. I swear, if the dolphins disappear now because of this, then I'm so sorry. It won't be the first time. Also, it's 11 p.m. over here. I don't know if things reset. Wait, how did I get transported here? They reset at 12 p.m., right? Why did I get transported to Medali when the dolphins are all the way over here? Okay, so you're just now roaming in my map? Is that I can fly here and does it drag you with me? Oh, wait, did you follow me or did you get dragged? Also, that is a really cool shiny. Holy crap. I had not actually seen the shiny in game yet. It's really cool. Holy macaroni. I followed. Okay, so if I go somewhere, it doesn't drag you with me, basically. There's a den out here. You can see where they are? Really? That's cool. Can this is Elan's crystal? Oh. Okay. Also, Safri, Elan or Ellen? Or whatever other pronunciation. Also, can you see the thingy I marked on the map? Elon. If you would be on other parts of the map, you would see profile picture. Oh, okay. But can you see the thingy that I marked? Ela? Elon. Elon. No? Elon? Elon. Whee! Moving the lawn? The lawn! What? Elon. But there's no W. Okay. Elon. I'm a walking, talking disaster, okay? Like, please spare me. Clearly. Please spare me, for I am a walking, talking disaster. So yeah. I end before she starts. Alyssa, don't I end before me again, okay? Last time my brain just fully smushed into that abbreviation. I think that bug you saw earlier was not really there. Wait, come up. Yes, hello? Why up? Why am I do I follow you up? Okay. Do the spawns not reset until they reset for both of us? Is that it? Just okay. Hi. Hello. Oh, you're doing a picnic. Okay. I'm up here. Now what? There's Oricario over here. Those are pretty cool. Join the picnic? Chill. How do I join the... Oh! You evolved your shiny Mareanie? I'm offended. Ooh, but the Umbreon is sick though. Damn, that thing looks good. Look at this Umbreon. And you have the shiny Klefki too. I got that one in sword. But I can't believe you evolved into Toxapex. That's so sad. Hi, Toxapex. Hello. Mareanie is so much cuter than Toxapex. Come to where you are? Yes, hi. Wait, I can pack up for you? Klefki's so freaking cute. Yes, hello. We are both at the one end of the table. Make a sandwich. Make a sandwich. 2 members of your group have joined in. Now what? Do I choose the sandwich? I'm making it just add one thing and butter. Okay, what thing do you want me to add? And also, is it creative mode? Do I go creative mode? Okay, what thing do you want me to add? I got stuff. Add 1 cucumber. Do I have cucumbers? I do. 1 cucumber. Okay. And then next, and you said butter. I got butter. And then next again. Oh gosh. The butter looks pretty good though. It's green. Why is it green? Those are herba? Do I grab things too? Why are you so fast? Things fell off! Wait, do I have to insert a pick too? It's alright? The pick's going straight to the plate. It's do you see the plate? It's going straight through it. I am somewhat confused. Am I gonna break my teeth again? I cannot decipher the animation. Look, it's a 3-star thing. Sparkling water power 3, tidal power water 3, encounter. Whoa. That's a lot of things. I'm stuck. I can't move. Oh, there we go. So now we jump back down. The power of the herba. Okay. Basically, what that just means is if this is actually as fast as people say it is, then I am fighting a dolphin, apparently. Then it might actually be, like, really, really OP to just do all the gyms next time. If we just up 1 sandwich and get the freaking thing, then this is gonna be very over. But also, if I get the shiny, do you get the shiny too? Or do we like get the same shiny? Like, can we match? Are we like matchy or is that not a thing? One of us. Okay. So if I find a shiny, that doesn't necessarily mean that you find a shiny. I thought there was supposed to be a ton of finnas in here, but I don't see that many. If I just stand still for a second, will they spawn? Tasha? Union circle makes them spawn less. Oh. Move away and return for others. But what if I want to stand still? I was trying to see if they spawned more. Bro just teleported over here. Dang. He was like, whoop, and then whoop. Look at the dude teleport. Elon, you teleporting so much. Come on. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent. I feel like it's lagging quite a bit, though. But maybe that's just me. Also, Savage, your move away kind of reminded me of, like... Oh my god, what was that quote again? Step away from the... something. I think it was. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what the something was. Step away from the something. Online quality is altered iffy. Yeah, I can imagine. I think it's probably the reason why I mostly just play offline. Because it's just a little bit better. And a little bit better is a lot better. Didn't know you could drift in water too. You can also do raids. Okay. I truly feel like a noob right now. Y'all understand this, right? I've been playing Pokemon for like 20 years now and I still feel like a noob sometimes. It's kind of great. Would you not mind wasting a lot of numbers? Would you not mind wasting a lot of numbers from the Herbert, or do you got a big bunch? Yeah, that is a good question. Oh, look, so cute. There's a little twirlies. I have a lot. Damn. I will get to where I want to go. Still says 12. If it says 12, we are doing good. Yeah, I feel like the zoom out version is not the absolute worst in this like little patch of water. I got 340 of them? You people doing raids like crazy, dude. Damn. It's like 2 Herbert per sandwich. Yeah, it's 2. I have 2. I got 2 from when I got carried for the the T-Rex Suicune. I think it was. T-Rex Suicune. Which I still don't fully understand why they made it look like a T-Rex. Like, Feel like you got better options, but sure. Lots of water. Oh, Savage! You got the Absol and it's shiny? Wait, does this mean you're only missing one more? I took a peek before stream. You're missing one more before you get stuck, right? That's 3 shinies I got for new ones. Hey! The odds are the odds. You just got lucky. Damn, you do need one more. But it's a split, right? Hope you don't get stuck. I mean, you're gonna get stuck regardless if you get stuck or not. That's just a fact at this point. That is just a fact. Because Route 10 is not open for business. That sentence made sense. It did! You're gonna get stuck regardless if you get stuck. It makes sense. Because either you get the Pokemon and you're stuck, or you don't get the Pokemon and you get stuck because you've not been able to get the Pokemon. Makes sense. Oh, I guess we're fighting this. If I get it, I will travel, not stuck. Yeah, but you can't go forward. You can only go back to places you have already been. Oh my goodness, that looks amazing. What? Bro, shiny scissor looks great. I refuse to travel before my collection is complete. Don't think we even no, I mean, I have extensively and it works for as far as I'm concerned. This looks freaking cool, dude. What? Look at the reflection. That looks so cool. I thought it'd be more neon green, but that looks really cool. Like bronze that was painted green. I'm scared. You don't need to be scared. Listen, if it goes wrong, I can just tell my dad to pop you back to where you were before. Like manually. But the commands work. I did test it out quite a bit. It even gives you like little notifications if you go too far. Should I take a shot? I mean, you can wait for Blossom. There's not a cooldown. No, there's not a cooldown. You can just go and keep going. Yeah, the only thing is you can't have an active Pokemon. Because you can't leave it behind. So you have to travel before you get an egg. Otherwise, it will not work. Look at those clouds. They're so cute. That's actually really freaking cute. Really, really cute. But see, it even has little messages. Oh, look, you got a shiny Oricorio. The pom-pom style. So just staying finished and hunting. I mean, yeah, I guess. Can I see how much time the sandwich has left? I can. Okay, so we'll do the following. We're gonna finish the sandwich, and then I'm gonna end stream, okay? By then it'll nearly be midnight anyway, so the fitness and outbreak is gonna be gone. So yeah. And then tomorrow, getting late here. Yeah, it's almost 1 a.m. for you, right? Yep. Tomorrow I have a big day. I have to finish the YouTube thumbnails, which I haven't finished yet. I have to upload the videos, which I haven't uploaded yet. I have to schedule the videos, which I haven't scheduled yet because they're not uploaded. I have to go grocery shopping for humans. I have to go grocery shopping for cats. It's a lot. Especially the grocery shopping part. Like, wish I could just teleport everything to my house. That was invisible? Yeah, not all big days are stream days. Okay, good sir? Some big days are just big days. Because there's a lot of things that I need to do. And probably most of them that I don't want to do. Sales of vinyl albums overtake CDs for the first time since the late 80s. Damn, okay. Did not see that coming. That is new. Yeah, this game is absolutely perfect for hunting two Pokemon at the same time. For doing my dual hunts of eggs and wild spawns. Because you're just driving around. This is like freaking perfect. I don't even have to encounter Pokemon if I don't want to. I got a system update on phone yesterday. It was full-blown version update. I was like, what is this phone? Oh, wow. Really? That different? Damn. Honestly, I don't know if I like it when they make things like super, super, super different. Like, I'm still annoyed with the Gmail, with the new Gmail look. It's almost too round, and I'm missing a bunch of things that I liked before that I don't have now. And I can't go back to the old one because it won't let me. For a few years. No, it hasn't. It had the option. Yeah, I mean online, like on PC. On PC, it looks very different now. And it sucks. Yeah, no, the whole company is on Gmail, dude. It doesn't have the @Gmail thing, but it's on Gmail. Like, that's like the base that's used for it. I know what you mean. Yeah. But yeah, it looks really, really different. It really, really sucks, and there's no way to turn it back. Believe me, I've looked everywhere. I'm in it, remember? I know. I've looked everywhere. There's no way to... Like, me and my colleagues, all we want is to not have the freaking background that color. Like, why? I have my Gmail in light mode to, like, differentiate it more from, like, when I'm at home. And I even had to put my Gmail in dark mode. Just because light mode was just suddenly way too freaking light. Today we had more server and Microsoft 365 lessons. Hey. Did you learn how to turn Gmail back in time? I'll send you a screenshot later, dude. Like, honestly, it's really annoying. Oh, I hit a dolphin. I hit a dolphin. Yeah, basically you have like the toggle of like your start emails, and then you have a toggle below that that says like everything, and you can like close and open it. If you leave it open, it's way too light, and if you leave it closed, it's still way too light. It used to be like background color, and now it isn't. It's just way too light. I don't know how, listen, y'all know I am the absolute freaking best person ever to explain like complicated things to you, especially if they're visual. Like, clearly, I know exactly how to explain myself without having to make a drawing. So I apologize. Because like my explanations are just too good, right? Oh gosh, adrift. Adrift in the ocean. Yeah, I have no clue what you mean. Yeah, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. Of course people have no clue what I mean when I try to explain something visual. I'm not good at explaining visual things without showing a visual thing. Yeah. Oh, come on! I know. Aren't I lovely? Ooh, Sarita looking good! Explaining visual things is clearly what I was made for. I know exactly what I'm doing every single time. Perfectly able to express myself. Without having to... It's kind of the reason why, like, every time I tell a story, it's, like, a lot longer than it probably could be, because in my brain, I'm thinking of how I'm gonna say things, and then I'm saying them at the same time, and then I feel like I'm not expressing myself well, so I go back and then I say them again, but differently, and then, like, everything just takes 10 times longer. Just because I don't ever know how to explain myself. And that is how what could have been one sentence turns into 5. And a story that could have been told in maybe 2 minutes is told in like 10 or 15 or 30. I am getting tired. Honestly, I think for the few amount of times that I've streamed over 3 hours, I feel like my brain is capable of holding like entertaining-ish. The concept of potentially entertaining conversation for like 3 hours tops, and then I just like my brain just automatically shuts down after 3 hours of talking. You think you're entertaining a potential? I've been trying to attempt. That's why I said the word potential. Potential doesn't mean it's actually. It just means it has the potential to be. Doesn't mean it is. I'm just a weirdo on the internet. Oops. That's rich? I mean, what kind of rich we talking about? Confidence? No. Shyness? Absolutely. Food? Depends. Also, who is rich? I think my brain's gone. The hell are you talking about? Honestly, if you figure it out, let me know. If you figure it out, let me know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Seven more minutes. And this is why I don't usually stream more than 3 hours, because my brain just poof. Delirium. What's that? Who are you? Oh, Arakuda. That brain does after streaming work. Yep. This is the brain that does all the after streaming work. I don't know. It's probably because I'm not talking. I think it's the talking. I think the talking is the problem. I get far and I get far silently. Oof, the yawns. The yawns are increasing in quantity. Not yet in intensity though. Still just yawns. Might know what you mean with the Gmail webpage. Yay! Do you have a solution? Whoa, this is really unlucky. Yeah, I don't think these puppies want to be purple. I usually get more than 0. Yes, that is the definition of more than anything. Zero is the very lowest you can go in this situation. Look, it's so pretty. Look at the little baby. Wait, come back. I want to look at you some more. It's so cute. I really like this shade of purple. It's really freaking cute. Missed one? The subject and male body parts stay white. Yeah, they do. Even if you put it in dark mode. If you put it in dark mode, it just goes to light gray. It also has the rare mark. Oh, fun. I love this stream. Yeah, we're just not doing anything and you're slowly watching my brain go down the drain. Hey, now that it's raining, does that mean more? Do we get more spawns now that it's raining? Because, like, it's water, and there's water in the water, and there's water in the sky. Redeemed story time. Okay. Let's see what kind of story I can muster up with this this water. Yeah. There's water in the water, and there's water in the sky. We are doing good. Yeah, just turn on Dark Reader extension that makes it all dark. Except it doesn't. It doesn't work. I wish it did. What's this one? Okay, Faye, this is story time. Basically, you claim this, and I, on purpose, tell a story. That's simple as that, really. Okay, since we are, I don't know, attempting a shiny hunt apparently for dolphins, totally by accident, let me tell the story of my very first shiny encounters, because I killed them all. This is the punchline. I killed them all. But let me explain to you what happens here. So, my very first shiny encounters were in Pokemon Silver. Or was it Crystal? I don't actually remember if it was Crystal or Silver. And at that time, I was smaller than what I am now. And I didn't know that shinies were a thing. So, when your girl encountered her first shiny Gloom, I was just like, what is this thing? This is broken. Maybe there's like a glitch, so I killed it. Because I was trying to gain XP. So I killed it. Because that's how you gained XP. You didn't have candies and stuff. After that, I think like maybe like 30, 45 minutes later, like game time later, I found another shiny Gloom in the exact same area. And I was just like, okay, maybe the Gloom here are just broken. I should probably kill it. After that, not too long after that, I found a third shiny Gloom in the same area. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what happened here. My game is hacked. It's been hacked. I don't know how to fix this. It's been hacked, and if I do anything, it's gonna infect the rest of my game. So I switched it off, and I didn't turn it back on again before I lost the cartridge. I don't know where that cartridge went. But yeah, so I basically found 3 shiny Gloom in the same area, killed them all, because I thought my game got hacked somehow. Now, bear in mind, Silver Crystal, there's no online connectivity there. You'd have to cable it in. So I'm not entirely sure how I thought my game was hacked, but I was stupid. That's the only that's the only explanation. I was stupid. But yeah. And that's the story of my very first shiny encounters. All in the same game, all in the same location in-game, and all 3 were Gloom. Yes, they are separate games. I just don't remember if it was Crystal or Silver. It was one of those 2. But I just don't know which one. What was your first Pokemon game? Silver or Crystal? I don't actually remember which one it was. No, I didn't play Gold, that's for sure. The one thing I know for sure is that I did not play Gold. I either played Silver or I played Crystal first. I played both of them. I don't remember which one I played first, though. And whichever one I played second, that's where I got the Glooms. I am old. Yeah, same, dude. Same. Is that it for the sandwich? Is the sandwich over? 16 seconds. 16 seconds! My first one was yellow. Nice. I mean, granted, like, games took a really long time to get here anyways. So yeah. Don't remember the legendary? No, because I never finished either of the games. Like, I'm not even joking. The storyline of Sword and Shield is the first storyline in any Pokemon game. Look at it, it's so cute. Okay, I really need to shiny hunt this thing because it's so freaking cute. Look at this thing. Why did you want to shiny hunt this thing? It's so freaking cute. You already have one. Look at it. It's so cute. Hi, baby. I wanted to help you. Thank you. You think you're old? You don't remember the cartridge. Look, front cover. No, I don't. I don't. You know that's a Palafin? It's still cute though, I just don't like it when it transforms. It looks like a Finizen when it's not transformed, and it looks like an Abomination when it is transformed. It's just not a good evolution in my mind. Simple as that. It doesn't mean I still don't like the non-transformed version. I just think it's a Care Bear version of Finizen. It's uninspiring. It's not good design. It doesn't mean it's not cute. It's just not good design. So I don't like the evolution. Because design-wise, it's terrible. Okay. I need to go sleep, because honestly, we've been going on for a lot longer than usual. Tasha can send you DM what the Gmail can look like with the right extension, and I linked the extension as well. Oh my gosh, yes! Please. Appreciate it. Okay, lovely peoples. I'm gonna go grab that item. Item. It's a quick ball. Oh, wait! No way! If I didn't go to grab that quick ball, I would not have spotted this. Oh my goodness! Wait, which Pokeball match is it best? Oh, it's gotta be a dive ball. Cause, oh my god! This is amazing. That's 2 shinies today. And this one we didn't even hunt for. I was gonna hunt for it, and now I don't need to. Chat really is your shiny charm. Yes. Yes it is. Oh my gosh. Now there's Shuppet here too. Wait, I didn't know Shuppet spawned here. Should I hunt for Shuppet instead of Bayonet and then evolve it into Bayonet? I need, wait, hold on. I need to save. I just got a shiny. I need to save. Actually, I need to put the shinies in the shiny box. I need to put the shinies in the shiny box. Hold on. I got 2 shinies today and did not put either of them in the shiny box. This is my shiny box. Wait, they're automatically in my shiny box. Cool. So for everyone that doesn't know my shinies, this is Clodsire. I got Clodsire as a Wooper. 2 hours into the game. 2 hours me. I hadn't even reached Mesagosa yet. Actually, no, I haven't even reached Los Platos yet. I think. After that, I found this Yungoos. After the Yungoos, I found a Koufant. After that, I found a Bramblin somehow. After that, I found Tropius. 20 minutes later, Capsicid. And the next day, in the first, like, 30 minutes of stream, which is direct continuation of the previous stream where we got the Capsicid, I found the Dreadnought. I then found a shiny Heracross. I found a shiny Heracross while trying to hunt for a non-shiny evolution of the Bramblin, which I just call Tumbleweed. After that, we were looking for Rain to evolve. We were looking for Rain to evolve to Goodra, and we found Lokix. And then last stream, I was just defeating Chanseys to get XP, and we found a shiny Chansey. Up until the Chansey, these were all full odds. I did not have the shiny charm. I got the shiny charm at the end of Wednesday's stream. The first shiny we got with the shiny charm is Girafarig, and now we got the Venonat. This is absolutely insane. So we are currently at 12 shinies, of which only 2 of them were with the shiny charm. This is ridiculous. Get out of the box? I am. I'm out of the box. What are we doing? What are you doing? Am I supposed to do something here? Selfie? Oh, wait. What was the thing where you can post things? That wasn't it. I look clueless because I am. Oh, wait, here. I'll do this one. How do I... Wait, I can rotate, right? I can... Did you take it? That was good? Okay, that was good. I'll take it as that was good. Okay, so there is definitely Shuppet over here. And no other ghost types. I might actually, instead of going for Bayonet, I might actually go for Shuppet. And then with the Shuppet, I can then evolve it into Bayonet. And then I'll have the family. Like the shiny family in the Dex. I think that might be good. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna stay here. Yeah, we're just gonna stay here. If the shiny odds are this good without using Herba Mystica, then I don't need Herba Mystica. I don't need to redo the gyms. I'll think about it though. I'll think about it. I might consider doing the gyms or not. We'll see. Wait, come back in the Pokeball. In the Pokeball you go. Okay, lovely people. I'm gonna end stream. Safri, that means I'm gonna kick you out. If that's okay with you. Do you mind if I kick you out? Shoot you to the boot. Can say the best night. I mean, don't be sad. Don't be sad. You're invited to come back if you want to. They're fleeing. I'm so sorry. I promise I won't actually kick you. We part ways here. This is the end. Oh my gosh, they're actually all sleeping. This is hilarious. Like, this is actually really cool. I woke one up. Does it go back to sleep immediately? Oh my god, it goes back to sleep immediately. Playtime's over, biatch. Okay, that's actually really funny. They wake up for a second and then they immediately go back to sleep because it's nighttime. That is actually precious. Okay. Anyway, Safri, I'm gonna kick you out. Okay, I'm gonna kick you out of my game right now. If you don't mind. Oh, that's also pretty good shiny. You're just over here showcasing all your shinies now, aren't you, honey? Yeah, you are, honey. You're showcasing all your shinies. What if they do mind? I mean, I don't know, man. Group has been disbanded? I did not do that. I did not do that. I left. Thank you, Safri. Okay, we save. We know where the Shuppets are. Think that's gonna be our next hunt. And I have to rethink how I'm gonna do this counter thing, because this game is definitely a little bit different from, put you guys on full screen. From Sword and Shield. With Sword and Shield, I can do a proper counter, but I don't think I can do that with this. Disconnect from the internet? Yes, hold on. Internet has been disconnected. Save again. Okay. I am pressing random buttons again. Okay, lovely people. For everyone that is new or that would like to come back, I am live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, starting at 8:30 p.m. my time, which is 9:30 for most of Europe. Should be 12:30 PST and more like 7:30 a.m. Australia Sydney time. So if everyone or anyone wants to join stream again, I will be back on Friday because today is Friday. I'll be back on Monday. My brain. I spent all of Tuesday thinking it was Wednesday and all of Wednesday thinking it was Thursday. And now that it's Friday, I think it's Wednesday again. It doesn't make any sense, but here we are. Oh no, she broke it. Oh, honey, I was born this way. We experimented and went mental. Yeah. That, I don't know what that was from, but it makes perfect sense. Yeah, okay, lovely people. I will be back on Monday because today is Friday. So I will not be back on Friday. I will also be back on Friday, but before that, I'll be back on Monday. I'm so done. I'm so done. It's only midnight. I'm so done. I'm making it worse. Anyways, okay, people, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go now. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'll see you guys back on Monday if you want to join me. I am Blurry. We're ending it Blurry. It does nothing. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.